Good evening and welcome to our Smyrna Town Council workshop for July to set our council agenda for August. Before we move into our items for discussion tonight, I'm going to ask Jerry to do our prayer and Mark, if you'll do our pledge. If you'll all stand with us, please.
Pray with me. Father, my God, I thank you so much for this day, Lord. Thank you for the blessings that you give us, Father. I thank you for the blessings that you give us in this town and to be able to live here, Lord, and the things that it provides. Father, we thank you for those that protect us. We thank you for those that work in this town, Lord, and ask you to be with them and their families. Father, we ask that you just be with us as we go through this meeting, Father. Just open our minds and our hearts, Father, to hear what's said and to be able to make the right decisions, Lord. Father, I pray for the Dixon family, Lord, and the loss of Jim, and I just ask that you be with them and comfort them, Lord, during this time. Father, go with us now, Lord, and just forgive me when I fail you, Father, and I pray this in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
You join me in the pledge? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Jerry. Thanks, Mark. We'll now move into our items for discussion. Our first item is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement with J&B Tanker for the water treatment plant backwash lagoon sludge removal project. Hey, Mike.
Hello, how are you?
Great.
Good. We do this annually. This year it's the North Lagoon. We're doing something a little different this year as far as land application goes. We're looking at subsurface application where it's basically injected underneath the surface instead of put on top. It'll avoid any runoff, helps the farmers, so we think that's a better option to go with this year.
Questions for Mike on sludge removal project?
So is it less intrusive doing it that way?
It is, yes ma'am.
Is this something we just do once a year or just as needed?
I'm sorry, I
Is
couldn't hear you.
this, I'm sorry. Is this done every year or just as needed?
This is done every year. We switch between the North and South Lagoon every year.
Okay.
Other questions? Okay, we'll put that on the agenda. Move on to item 2, which is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement with Bison Construction for Phase 2A of the North Lowry Waterline Project.
Yes, ma'am. This is the one we had originally bid and ended up rebidding it, breaking it into 2 sections. So this section would go from Sam Ridley, where the town center is, and stop at Moore Avenue. And this is one of the water model projects that we do to help with fire flow.
Questions for Mike on this one? Okay, item 3, approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement with United Communications to extend our fiber network to Cedarstone Park and Fire Hall 6.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. We're asking to extend the town fiber to Fire Hall 6 into Cedarstone Park. In the original fiber installation plan, Fire Hall 6 was omitted due to cost. The cost removal for the construction was about $353,000, and the monthly maintenance was about $1,200, and that was reduced out of the original plan. By working with United, we found better ways to manage the cost and to run this. We're going to extend to both locations for a cost of $95,000, and the monthly maintenance will be about $142 a month. This is budgeted in a capital budget line item we put in for this year for the construction cost, and the monthly cost will go into the town or into the IT budget.
Great. Questions for Carl on this? Okay, then we'll move on to item 4, which is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a renewal with, is it
Azteca.
Azteca System LLC, CityWorks for the building department software.
And this is the CityWorks software that is used by the building safety staff. They use it for the permitting, inspections, and property information. So this is the annual renewal we do. The software is about $47,250, and that's budgeted in the building safety budget.
Questions on this?
Mayor, if I could make a comment on that.
Sure.
Just so everybody knows, CityWorks is the software we use. We've had some discussions about it, and at some point we probably will reevaluate and make sure CityWorks is what we want to keep. But at this time, we need to keep keep everything working. So we'd like to go ahead and move forward this year, and then in the future, we may take a look at a different software.
Okay. Questions for anyone on this? Okay. Item 5, I've been asked to pull from the agenda. Move on to item 6, which is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement with Hawkins Paving for the annual asphalt paving. Okay, Tom.
Thank you, Mayor Council. We went out to bid for annual milling and resurfacing contract. This is only a one-year contract. We received 5 bids, evaluated the costs between all the bidders, and found that Hawkins Paving overall would have been the lesser expensive paving company based on last year's roads that we built and resurfaced.
Ron, I know you and I had had some discussions about possibly looking at 2 paving companies because of issues that we've run into in the past. Is that something y'all had discussion about?
That's something that we're going to continue to monitor. Working on this contract this year, I compliment Tom and his staff doing some work. They reached out to some other communities and talked about what they do. We know one of our neighboring communities does have 2. One of the things we put in there this year, and I appreciate Tom again paying attention to this, but we've got a clause in there that they don't get to linger with this paving. We want it done early in the year, not late in the year like we did last year. We're going to work through that and see how that works, but we do have a secondary that we could go to. We have not put a contract in place with them. The work that was done by Hawkins, once we got them here and got it done and got the contract right, was done very well. So we're going to see if this helps us this year, and then we'll evaluate again. I think the other thing is as we grow, if you'll remember back, and Tom, correct me with my numbers here, but 5 years ago, we had about $900,000 in the repaving. This year, I think we're at 1.75 or 1.85.
I think.
So as we grow that contract, and the more streets we garner into the community and those kind of things, that's going to happen. Then we can look at maybe splitting it out and make it worth both of the entities' time to do the work, so.
And I think it's really important for citizens to understand, we know there's a lot of new growth, but we want to make sure we're taking care of those that have been here for a while as well, so. Okay, then we will put that on the agenda. Moving on to item 7, which is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a contract with Rollins Excavation Company to provide general construction and concrete work for the town of Smyrna.
Yes, we went out to bid on this. We only had one bidder this year, Rollins Excavation. They currently have the contract. They came in a few $1,000s over what the last contract was, so not much of an increase. I know in times past when we have received multiple bids on this, other bidders were almost twice as expensive as Rollins. So even though we only have one bidder, I feel like this is a very competitive price.
And we're happy with their work, correct?
Very happy, yeah.
Okay. Okay, moving on to item 8, which is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a change order with Keller for remediation of the sinkhole near the intersection of Enon Springs and Hazelwood.
Yes, you know the sinkhole that opened up at Enon and Hazelwood several months ago. We had contacted Terracon, an engineering company, to come out and take a look at using GPR to figure out where the anomalies were underground. When Keller came out to do some pressure injecting of concrete, we have found some additional areas where there's some void spaces, and they went above and outside the contract to make sure that those places got backfilled so that we hopefully won't have this problem again in the future at this intersection.
Okay, questions for Tom on the sinkhole? Okay, item 9, approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement with TTL to provide construction material testing for Fire Station 2.
Yes, as far as...
4, sorry.
Yes, Fire Station 4. As you know, we hired Robinson Morton, the contractor, on that project at the last council meeting. What this is a contract with TTL to perform material testing services such as concrete testing, asphalt testing, rebar inspections, things like that during the construction process.
Okay. Questions for Tom on the testing?
What's the difference in that and having an engineering firm do oversight on the whole project?
Well, this is kind of having an engineering firm looking at certain aspects of the construction process. Things would be outside the scope of what a building inspector would do. You know, building inspector would basically be looking at the building itself. These guys would be looking at, like I said, rebar inspections for foundations, as well as concrete breaks on the sidewalk, and
They do core samples, is that how they do
yeah,
it?
they'll do core samples, and I don't know if they'll do slump samples, but do slump testing, but I know they do core samples. And
Questions for Tom? Okay, we'll put that on the agenda. Move on to item 10, which is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement with Reagan Smith to provide the NEPA and preliminary design services for the Lowry Street Phase 3 project.
yes, this is a sidewalk project going along Lowry Street on the east side from Eden Springs up to Sam Davis Road, we'll eventually be installing some sidewalk along there. Currently, this is just the NEPA investigation, the environmental investigation is part of the multimodal access grant. So we'll be doing some environmental investigations on that, as well as coming up with some preliminary design work where the sidewalk's gonna go, and just to get that approved by TDOT before we go into final design and then right away.
Questions?
Is that only on the west side?
I think it's on the east side. Yeah, it's just on like this side of Lowry Street. Yeah, not on the train track side.
Questions for Tom on this? Item 11, approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute the Gray Key license for police department technology. Chief?
Mayor, council. The Gray Key is a piece of equipment. It's an extraction tool, so you can gain access to cell phones. If there's an investigation for narcotics or homicide, then we need access to that phone once it's evidence. We actually obtained this piece of equipment from a grant, so the first year will be paid by the grant, or through a grant.
Questions for Chief on this? Okay, we'll put that on the agenda and move on to item 12, which is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a contract with the state for post-retention and recruiting.
Mayor and council, this grant is another grant we've obtained for the department for training and recruiting. It's a two-part grant, actually. The first part is for incentive or bonus pay for new officers that we would hire. A new officer with no experience would get $80,000 over 3 years after they graduate the academy. Officer with previous experience would get $10,000 spread over 3 years. So the grant would actually be over 5 years for $200,000. And we can actually, it would help us recruit a lot and get new officers in here and give them an incentive pay for joining the department. The second part of the grant is another $200,000 the department would get for every new cadet or trainee that graduates the police academy. We would get $5,000 back for equipment or things we could buy for that officer. And it's also 5 years, $200,000.
Only because I've had discussion in my household about this. What about those officers that we've hired that are 2, 3 months, 6 months difference from, it's just out of luck?
Out of luck according to the state, because whenever the contract's signed, it's the effective date for your department.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've had some discussions with officers about this. It's something that the governor put in place to try to get officers back into the jobs and come back to law enforcement that have left law enforcement.
How many of our officers do you think will fall in that? If you did if you did 6 months to a year, any idea? And maybe that's something you'd have to get back to
Yeah,
us
I'd have to get
about.
back with you on that, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Move on to item 13, is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement for the police department to begin the CELA, is that the way we?
CALEA.
CALEA, that's right. Accreditation process.
Yes, ma'am. This is something I talked to Mr. Hercules about when I first started. I think it's a great organization, a commission that comes in. It's a nationally recognized commission that comes in and evaluates your department and makes sure you're following best standards and practices in law enforcement. It's a 2-year process, and then every 3 years they will come back and reevaluate your department and make sure your department is following best standards and making sure your policies are up to date and your procedures are up to date. It's nationally recognized, and most most departments are accredited through this organization. So I think it's a big step for the department moving forward.
Agree. I'm glad you're willing to take this on. I remember through school, it was a long process doing those sort of
Yes, ma'am.
accreditations. Okay, item 14, approval of the terms of an authorization for the mayor to execute a contract with Motorola for police department radio equipment.
Yes, ma'am. This is just the annual renewal for the radio systems for the department and the town.
Ryan,
Yes,
one of
ma'am.
the things that I want to make sure is that, are all of our radios where we can talk to other agencies in an emergency or things like that?
Yes, ma'am. We've been discussing this. I think we've got some new radios coming, some handhelds and vehicle radios. And we've standardized what we'll be putting in all of those radios. So
Okay.
they'll have the channels to be able to do that. Then they'll have the channels to come back to
Whichever.
just their, like the fire department channel or the police channel. But all of the radios will have all the information in them.
So will we no longer have to be patching?
Should not have to be patching, but in very limited.
Will we eventually get to where we don't have to?
I would say yes, but there may be that one-off at some point that
Okay.
would cause that, but typically we would not have patching requirements.
Okay. Okay, item 15, approval of the terms of an authorization for the mayor to execute a contract with Carpets by Osborne for flooring replacement at the Smyrna Event Center. Hey Nate, how are you?
How are you guys doing?
Great.
So we are replacing the carpet, got with Carpets by Osborne, going to T9 vinyl. Just replacing it because it's old, got a lot of bare spots. The carpet cleaning is just taking too many man labor hours, and it'd just be more effective to switch over to the vinyl.
Great. And will the vinyl be similar to what we've got
So
out here?
it's going to be a kind of like a slate material. Slate.
Look.
Yeah, slate look.
Okay. Questions for Nate on this?
Is this the entire area?
So everywhere there's carpet, everywhere. So yeah, majority of the ballrooms and everything like that.
Okay. Other questions? And we'll move on to item 16, which is approval of the terms of an authorization for the mayor to execute a contract with Thomas and Hutton for engineering services related to Cedar Stone Park Tennis and Pickleball Court project. Hey, Mike.
Hello, Mayor, Council. This is kind of the next step in the grant project at Cedar Stone Park. Thomas and Hutton obviously designed Phase 1 and has been designing Phase 2. This part of it is pretty much construction administration, permitting, bidding, that type of thing. We're not ready to bid yet, but that will kind of be the next step in putting together contract books and that type of thing. We did put this in the grant as part of the grant was $50,000 set aside for that. This proposed fee is $52,000, which was very close. And as y'all know, this is a 50-50 grant, but we just recommend that use Thomas and Hutton since they designed it, and they'll be out there for construction administration. I will also tell you, we're still working through the addendum portion of that, so if there's any changes, we'll work through legal to make sure that we're got that correct before council meeting.
Mike, how long before we're actually playing pickleball?
Well, Brian, we've had that conversation, been asked a lot. I would hope within a year. I'd hope next summer because there's a lot of field, a lot of trees in that area. It's tough build right there. We'll have to move some drainage, so I would love to be able to pave it and color coat it next summer because I think it will take that long to get around. The time you bid it, bring it to council.
I mean, it really seems to be taking off. I've noticed it on ESPN.
Everywhere, yeah.
And all ages. You
Yeah.
know, you used to hear only seniors, but now you're hearing family members playing together that are different
And they're
ages.
playing, at Hilltop on Thursdays. They've got Tuesdays and Thursdays some nights, so we're actually looking at changing some of those courts around. That way we have something in the middle of town and something out on the west side as well, so.
Great.
Area-wise, how much different is it from a tennis court as far as actual size?
It's
smaller.
much smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's
Is it
much
about
smaller.
half, would you say?
At least, yeah,
least
somewhere
that.
in there.
Yeah.
I can't remember how many we put on per tennis court, but it's 2 or 3 per court.
Okay.
Okay.
This is the good thing and the bad thing about grants. They take a little longer, but the money's worth it.
Right. So item 17, consideration and authorization of a list of items to be auctioned through online surplus sale with Gov Deals. Rex, how are you?
Good, Mayor. You doing all right?
Oh, great tonight.
You have before you a list of surplus items that need to be sold at auction. The list includes information services equipment, vehicle maintenance equipment, and several town vehicles that have been removed from service. The town seeks permission to conduct an online auction to sell surplus items. The auction will be advertised in the Murfreesboro Post, on the website, and on Channel 3. All surplus items will be sold through Gov Deals, an online auction company.
Anybody have any questions for Rex? Okay, we'll put those on the agenda and move on to item 18, which is consideration of an ordinance amending the fee schedule for the 2023-2024 fiscal year budget for the adoption of the new maximum impact fee rates, and this is our second reading. Hey, Mitchell.
Mayor, Council. The 18 and 19 kind of go along with each other, so first part for 18 at least, Duncan Associates was hired out to perform an updated study to the impact fees that we are currently charging. Part of the updates that warehousing did decrease as far as the overall cost, and that was due to the IT trip generation manual, resulting in a lower number of employees at the facilities, thus you have less traffic going on at the warehouses. Residential, commercial, office, institutional, and industrial all increased due to the cost of capital improvements since the last update was performed. We're looking to implement these fees at the October 1st, 2023 date, and staff would recommend approval.
Questions on this? We'll put it on the agenda. Item 19, which goes along with this one, is consideration of an ordinance amending the town's municipal code, Title 5, Municipal Finance and Taxation, Section 5, Impact Fees. This also is a second reading.
As part of the study done by Duncan Associates, there were a couple minor tweaks that were going to be done to the municipal code, Title 5, Chapter 5. One of the adjustments is that structures used for parking would be exempt from impact fees, as well as the change in net cost per vehicle mile traveled to reflect updated cost from the study. This would be an increase from about $2,755 to $4,194.
Questions on this? Okay, we'll put that on the agenda and move on to item 20, which also is a second reading. It's consideration of an ordinance relative to the rezoning of property located on tax map 33D, Group A, parcel 16.00, to go from R2 to C2. It's requested by McCole Vaughn. The property requested to be rezoned contains 59 1/100ths of an acre and is located at 12630 Old Nashville Highway, and it is a second reading.
This property is at the corner of Todd Lane and Old Nashville Highway. It is about 0.59 of an acre. The land use plan in this area is the Old Nashville Corridor Character Area, which does support neighborhood retail and service uses, and townhomes and other multifamily development. Surrounding zoning in this area does consist of C2, R2, and PRD, which is the DeLacy Place development. There is an existing house on this site that does not meet setbacks. The applicant did indicate that as development of this tract that would be removed, and any future buildings would be required to meet setbacks at that time. Planning Commission did recommend approval of this project, 6-4-0 against, and staff would recommend approval as well.
Questions on this one?
The zoning change is just speculative. We don't know of anything in particular they're gonna bring in.
Just at this time, we just know C2, don't have an exact use yet at this time.
Okay. Item 21, consideration of an ordinance relative to the rezoning of property located on tax map 33, parcel 60.00 to go from R1 to R3. It's requested by Michael Daniel. The property requested to be rezoned contains 7.5 acres and is located at the end of Skinner Drive, west of Patience Drive, and it is a second reading.
This is a rezoning to go from R1 to R3. End of Skinner Drive, west of Patience Drive, about 7.5 acres in total. The land use plan for this area supports medium family density. The surrounding zoning is R3 and PRD, which does include the colony at Green Tree, which is not developed over to the west of this tract, and then south is Burnett Ridge, which was recently improved. And the Planning Commission did recommend approval of this, 6-4-0 against, and staff would recommend approval as well.
Questions on this? Put it on the agenda. Item 22, consideration of an ordinance relative to the rezoning of property located on tax map 50, parcel 14.00 to go from C2 to I2. It's requested by Rashish Shaw. The property requested to be rezoned contains 9.88 acres and is located on Tridon Drive and Safari Drive, and it is a second reading.
This is about 9.8 acres, located on the corner of Trident Drive and Safari Drive. Land use plan in this area does support the 24 Gateway area, which supports uses and services local and regional in scale, and hospitality, retail, restaurant, and multifamily particularly are appropriate as well. Surrounding zoning consists of C2 and I2 in town, and then light industrial to the north, which is Rutherford County. There's a church either in construction or developed on that tract of land. Part of this parcel is in the floodplain, the 100-year floodplain. Any development within that area would be required to conform to Article 9 of the zoning ordinance in regards to the floodplain development requirements. The Planning Commission did recommend approval of this, 6-4-0 against, and staff would recommend approval.
Questions on this? Okay, we'll move on to item 23, which is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a lease with the Smyrna Laverne Food Bank, doing business as Nourish Food Bank, for the premises at 140 Richardson Street.
Yes, Mayor and Council, in conversations with the food bank, we currently have a lease on that property that's expired as of December. And as you guys know, they're a great partner with us and fill a great need in our community. So Esquire Peach and Todd Spearman, our assistant town manager, myself, got together. We've reviewed the lease. We're recommending a 15-year lease at a minimal charge. You'll see that in your packet. And then 2 5-year evergreens to give them a 25-year proposal. That way, if something changes and we need to come back in there, we can. They're very impatient to get this because they're out of the lease, and I told them we're not going to evict them or anything like that. So we'd like to get this approved and get it back in place for them so they have some comfort that they have a home over there for right now.
And I know they're busting at the seams
They are.
over there, so. The sad thing is, it's a service we wish we did not have to offer, that nobody in our community is hungry, but the larger we grow, the more we're gonna have to have that service. So I don't think any of us have a problem getting that put on the agenda. Any questions on that for Brian? Okay, seeing none. Item 24 and 25 in regards to the town court have been removed. There's some items that we need to study a little bit more on and need to gather some more information, and we want to make sure when we have our discussion that we have all of the information that we can. So we will defer this until our next council workshop. Under other, Nate, anything under other? Oh, that's right, you're not here, sorry, I shouldn't have called on you first. All of anybody from each one of the departments, we just ask them if they have anything they want to share. So-
Mayor, before you do that, could I make one observation, please?
No. Yes, of course.
It's a tough room. Of course, Nate doesn't attend all of our meetings, but because he had something on the agenda tonight, he was here. But I also want to point out, we have another gentleman that's joining us, Dennis Blair. Dennis, stand up for us so that we can be recognized. Dennis is our interim building official, building codes official, and we're very pleased to have him filling that role for us. He comes to us well recommended after how many years with the town you've been here?
Total of
18 years. And he's been working part-time, and he stepped up and said he would come back and fill this role for us as we begin our search for a building official again for the town. But Dennis is already doing a great job, and we appreciate him more than he'll ever know for taking this responsibility. So I wanted to point that out. He may have some things he'd like to share.
It's okay.
Sure, come on.
Hello, Mayor.
Hello.
I got this so that this floor doesn't shake and I'll fall down. So, first I'd like to say I am honored to assume the responsibilities as the interim building official. I'd like to say a little bit about me. Most of you know me, but I'd like to tell you a little bit about me and my family. I was born here in Smyrna at Goodall Clinic, so that's been a while back. I've lived here in Smyrna or Rutherford County all of my life. I'm a 1973 graduate of Smyrna High School. My wife Angie and I were married in 1979. Started out over here at the Executive House Apartment and purchased a house here in Smyrna 44 years ago, and we still live at that address. We have a daughter, Alicia, her husband Will, and a grandson named Jesse who absolutely owns me. And they also live here in Smyrna. I'm proud to be a resident of the town that I love. In the department, though, I wanted to bring to your attention, there's been a few reassignments in our department to spread out the workloads, and we are making good progress with that. Again, I'm thankful to serve you, this administration, and this community. Thank you all.
Dennis, I can't tell you how much we appreciate. You've always been a team player. Whatever we've asked of you, you always step up and do. And you're one of those people that I think if any of us called you, no matter what time or where you were, you would always be willing to come lend a helping hand. And so we appreciate that. And we know that you're going to do a good job, but we also know that it's not a job you want permanently. So we will be working towards getting that position filled.
Might go slower than you think.
Oh.
Thank you all.
I've known Dennis a long time, and if I may, Dennis, not only working here, but the client, if you will, the people we service out there, I've never heard a negative thing about any of your inspections or anything like that. So kudos to you for being able to do that in a very professional manner, not just in these walls, but outside the community too. A lot of respect for you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Dennis. Rex?
No, ma'am.
Charles?
I'm doing good, Mayor.
Oh, are you sick? You've not come up to the podium for a while. Oh, good. Carl?
No, ma'am.
Jeff? Tom? Mike? Mike? Oh, Mike's taking on Charles's role.
I'm not gonna talk about.
I was gonna say, it depends on how long you talk.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to inform you, we've been made aware of a tourism grant by the state, and I've been talking to Brian and Rex a little bit about it, and we're going to look at some projects that might be worth that. I'm going to make a list and kind of talk to Brian and Rex about it, but it is a 50-50 grant, so it's $100,000 max, which is more than what it used to be. You might recall the depot stage was that grant, so anyway, the chamber let us know about it, and soccer park's on my mind in a couple of ways, so might be some things tourism related there and visitor related.
Great.
Just want to make sure y'all are aware.
Great. Mitchell? Nothing? Okay. Todd? Chief? Heather? Chief? Amber? No, ma'am. Brandy?
Mayor and Council, I do have a couple things I'd like to share. One is a bit of, I guess, business that I just want to make the citizens aware of. We've had some issues recently with people selling items in the right-of-ways, especially out on San Bernardino Parkway, and we've had several complaints about that. And I appreciate Chief Urban. Over this weekend, we had to have some conversations with some of those folks, and you know, I just hope people understand there's a right way and a wrong way to do some of those things. It's not that we don't want people, you know, providing services to the community, but we want it done the right way. And unfortunately, in the right-of-way is not the right way, and it creates some traffic issues. Also, you know, we have our farmers market and those type of things. We have some private property places where they can sell, and you know, if they're interested in doing that kind of business, if they'll call our Planning and Codes Department, we can help them maneuver through some of those waters. But I just wanted to point that out, that there is a reason that we have to abide by the law. A couple of other things I want to share with you. We received, I know we also received tonight to the council, received from the family of Jimmy Taylor, Admiral Jimmy Taylor, a very nice thank you to Chief Culberson and Chief Urban for the services that we provided during their time of loss in his funeral, the police escorts, and then also we had the flag up out at the graveyard. So appreciate that family, and we send our condolences and thank you to both our chiefs for providing those services.
I know I know, and we've kind of had this discussion, I know some communities are going away from that, but I hope that we can continue doing that. To me, it is one of those things that makes our community special to pay respects. And I think all of us up here hear that on a consistent basis, whether it's people that live here in town or visitors that are coming for the funeral, so.
Okay. Also, we, both the chiefs forwarded letters to me from the Rutherford County Sheriff's Department, again, sending their appreciation for the services we provided in the passing of the detective. Mayor, help me with this. It's B-E-U, is it? Bew?
Bo.
Detective Bo. That unfortunately lost his life a few months ago with the Sheriff's Department, and they did want to tell us how much they appreciated our work there. Also want to recognize in the Police Department, Jonathan Beverly and Lindsay for working with a Kyler's Kingdom Daycare. They went out and let the children see the police cars and had some time to visit with them and share. Not to be afraid of the police officers. We're here to help them when they have times of need, those kind of things. So that community outreach project that they've implemented down at the police department is definitely paying benefits for us, and appreciate the work that they're doing. Next, I did want to announce, I think we have a slide for this, our boat day winners. Ben LeConte won the Blue Pelican with paddle and life vest. Sharon Payne won the Green Pelican with paddle and life vest. Tajay Bynes, the Igloo Cooler. Anita Cannon, the Igloo Cooler. Candace Winston, $100 gift card. Mylan LZ, $100 gift card. Daniel Oglin, $100 gift card. And Crystal Vincent, $100 gift card. And appreciate them coming out and supporting Boat Day, and hope they enjoy these nice gifts that were provided. And I think Academy Sports provided all of those for us. So thank you to Academy and the partnership we have with them on Boat Day. If you've been up to Lee Victory Park recently, you'll notice that the tennis courts are under repair. This is a 10-week project, and it's been started now, what, Mike, about a week?
Yes, sir.
And we are completely resurfacing those tennis courts. So I know it's an inconvenience to our community, but hopefully during these hottest parts of the summer, they weren't playing too much tennis anyway outside. But hopefully when we get this done, we'll have some really nice courts, restriped, recolored, and ready for them to play on. So that process, like I said, will be expanding over the next 10 weeks. Join us at the Smyrna Police Department National Night Out. That's next Tuesday, August the 1st, from 6 to 8 p.m. There'll be tours, exhibits, giveaways, and music. Come out and enjoy the fun. I think they're also asking for school supply donations to be brought in. So anybody from the community that would like to participate in that, please don't hesitate to bring some school supplies, and we'll get those to the appropriate entities at the end of the National Night Out. Next, Smyrna United Way Golf Scramble. It's that time, August the 11th, United Way Golf Scramble, and we've got a great lineup of our sponsors this year, and I'm not going to announce a number yet, but it's a really good number. It's now open through, let's see here, through July. Let's see, what's your package? Trying to get to you. They can sign up for teams between now and the day of the golf tournament. So teams are $400 for 4 players, and that includes lunch, some giveaways, and those kind of things. But the golf scramble is open. You can go online, or you can contact Jeff Craig here at the townofsmyrna.org, jeff.craig@townofsmyrna.org, and we can get you signed up for the tournament, and or if you'd like to be a sponsor. Next, I'd like to say thank you to Middle Tennessee Electric for their donation to the Smyrna Outdoor Activity Center. We appreciate the partnership and the support. I think this year's check was $15,000, and that's helping to pay for one of the displays that will be at the SOAC for the community to enjoy. And Chris Jones and his team were here to make that happen for us. What am I doing?
Did y'all change the name and didn't tell us?
What's that?
Smyrna Outdoor Adventure Center?
Activity Center.
Smyrna Outdoor Adventure Center. I said activity, did I?
It says it
It
on the
says
slide.
There.
Oh, does it? Oh.
Well, that was an activity.
The next thing I want to announce is we've renamed SOAC. I know on my sheet, 'cause I'm really bad about saying that. That's a blunder
Maybe
for
that's
me.
why it's there.
Yeah, I don't think so. I didn't have nothing to do with this slide.
Check your
It's the
sheets.
Smyrna Outdoor Adventure Center. That's what is on my sheet, so.
No, it is adventure, you said
I
activity.
mean,
Well, that's like
And that's what it says on there.
well, it said adventure. No, I
Heather's
didn't.
cowering down in her chair.
No, she's taking it, she's taking it.
Just blame Brian, Heather. He says it so much, that's what you thought.
Somebody get the mayor under control, please. Tim, you and Mark.
They're calling it.
Thank you, Doug.
Yes.
Never did even open it.
Next is Depot District Barbecue Fest is upcoming at 98 Front Street, Smyrna. That will be Saturday, August the 12th, beginning at 6 p.m. in the Depot District. It's a family fun event. We invite everybody to come out and participate for some good food and fun. So that is August the 12th at 6 p.m. And that is in the Depot Center, not any, we haven't renamed it or anything, so. Okay, Depot District.
He said center.
Jeff, you take care of the rest. I've been up since 1 o'clock this morning. The mayor jinxed me into that.
We won't go into that.
Okay. Middle Tennessee Electric celebrated at our town center, located on Samaria Parkway, the 100th home for, I'm gonna start reading this completely right off
The
the
event
sheet.
center?
Event center.
You said town center.
100th home for their uplift celebration. I know several of you were able to come out that night. It was a great time. And the uplift celebration, the uplift program is where they work with people to go in and do insulation, heat and air, lighting, and those kind of things to help reduce their electricity consumption and help them on that way to save energy. It's a great program, and I think actually the night that we celebrated the 100th, they were actually already up to 111, I believe. But what was really cool about this is number one was actually a home in Smyrna. So it's a great program, and I think they've done about 12 or 13 homes in Smyrna so far, so.
And do they go to Middle Tennessee Electric to apply? Is that how they
Yes.
do it? Okay.
And it's a partnership with TVA and Middle Tennessee Electric, so.
Within codes and stuff, if we go out and inspect somewhere and we see somebody that might benefit, do we pass along, or do you know?
You know, I don't know that we're actually doing that, but it's probably a good idea for us to consider as we look at some of the homes we go into. You know, one of the things is a lot of times the inspections we're doing are on new homes.
Right.
These are some of the older homes, but if there's work being done and we see some things, that's a possibility for us
Okay.
to share that. Next, I want to announce something I'm very happy to announce, is tonight we announce the promotion of Captain Jeff Dwyer and John Lear, Captain John Lear, to Assistant Police Chiefs effective July 22nd. These are two gentlemen that have been very dedicated to our police department for over 30 years and have done a great job in their positions as captains, and with the growth that we're seeing in our department, the growth we're seeing in our community, and with Chief's direction, I think we've got some plans to expand their roles, looking for some things to put us in best practices of policing. You heard us talk about the CALIA certification that we're moving forward with and those type of things. Also, I think there's a lot of grants that are out there that we're going to be looking at, and hopefully we'll have some more time with them in their new positions to research some of those. I will tell you, just planting a seed for next year's budget, we're probably going to be looking for a grants person to add to staff to help us in all the departments, and that's something that, honestly, that's a position that should pay for itself. And grant writing is a cumbersome thing to do. We've done very well, though, with the police department. Again, tip my hat to Tom and some of his staff. Some of the grants that they've received are really helping us. I remember something about $11 million last year in grants that we were able to bring forward for the town. So that's a position that should pretty well pay for itself, but it's something that I think we're getting close to needing some help with. We recently at a TDOT meeting or MPO meeting, there was quite a bit of grants available that we just need to be looking at and researching. So, but promotion of Assistant Chief Jeff Dwyer and Assistant Chief John Lear, congratulations to both of them, well-deserved and great employees. The last thing I'll talk about tonight is love where you live. Nobody trashes Tennessee for 2023. The litter hotline, I'll remind you, is 1-877-8-LITTER. If you see somebody tossing litter, call that number and give them the tag number, and it will be logged into the system. And, I will tell you, we have taken it very serious at our police department, and I know the detectives don't appreciate getting a call saying there's some litter dumped somewhere, and we need to go through it and see if we can find out who's dumping trash and those kind of things. But our community is a beautiful community, and we need more people feeling that way about our community to stop the littering and stop the dumping and illegal dumping. So love where you live. And I think today, actually, our staff was out on Lowry Street, picked up 8 bags of garbage between Enon Springs Road and Harts Branch Bridge. Is an area that our streets department and Public Works has adopted, and just in that little area, they picked up 8 bags of garbage.
Just FYI, I noticed the other day on Sam Davis Road, where the sidewalk is, we're in the big curve after you pass the church. I noticed a couple bags of trash sitting there, and I thought, somebody. And then the next day, there's a gentleman that's picking up trash, and he's picking it up, and then he's leaving it there, I guess because there's no trash receptacle or whatever, and he's leaving it sitting right there beside so if our people drive by and see the bags of trash there, it's because he's picking it up all along that little route right there.
We have a couple of folks that are doing that. We've got a gentleman out on Florence Road. We got to go visit him one day because somebody reported him dropping his trash off over at the park.
Another citizen.
Another citizen.
Yeah.
And then Seven Oaks, my friend out there, Tony Proctor, he continually, every week he's out there picking up. And he'll report what he's picked up on Facebook and thank the people that came by and waved at him, but he always invites them to come help him too, but I don't think he's getting many takers. So, love where you live.
Okay, thanks. Jeffrey L.
Just echo congratulations to John Lear and Jeff Dwyer on their promotion. And I would mention that my father, Dick Peach, turned 80 about 7 days ago.
Yeah.
Good feat for him. He doesn't like to admit to getting older, but we all are.
He doesn't look it. Okay. Raquel.
Congratulations on the police promotions, and also thank you, Mr. Blair, for agreeing to come in and stand in this role during this interim time. And also, I just wanted to say that we've had several awards that Smyrna has received over the last several weeks. And so I wanted to take a moment to thank all of the employees, because you're actually out doing the hands-on work, and because of you, we are able to do a lot of the things that we are getting recognition on. And so I wanted to at least take a moment and just thank each and every employee for all your hard work and dedication, and for just being dedicated to the town of Smyrna and loving your jobs and doing great work. Thank you for all that you do. And that's all I have.
Great. HG.
Among the hidden gems within the town of Smyrna, we have the Tennessee Vocational Rehabilitation Center, and we toured it last week, and it's a very interesting place. I mean, you can see in the picture we're actually in an area that they have set up as a pharmacy, and so they train pharmacy technicians and pharmacy clerks, and other vocations range all the way from logistics and shipping to small automobile repair and such as that. But it's one of those things that most people are not aware of, that it's out in Smyrna, and they hear Tennessee Rehabilitation Center and they think it's a drug rehab or something like that, but it's not. It's a vocational rehabilitation, and they teach people to evolve back into the workforce after having an injury or some other event in their lives. But it was a very interesting trip out there. As you can see, that's myself, that's Brian, that's, what's his name, Steve? Yeah. And then we had Todd go with us also. But a good time was had by all. Other than that, be kind, Mark.
I will.
And shop local.
I'll add my condolences to the Dixon family. I had the pleasure of knowing Jim, just a class person all the way around. Dennis, thank you. I had the pleasure of having Dennis do some inspection for a home that we were building, and I felt like I was in excellent hands the whole time. And I knew when he got through, I had a good home and things were done the right way. So I appreciate you stepping up.
Jerry?
Okay, I think we've got something coming up. There we go. I had the honor to go to the Ritus Federal Credit Union's 50th anniversary. As you can see there, that Brian and Todd also went with us. As you can see the picture, you can notice that some of them dressed the way we used to dress back 50 years ago, and but they had a very good turnout. This group is also the credit union that handles Nissan, and I know that they do a great job for that our team over there. So congratulations to them. The next one, also last week, myself and Todd was able to go to the Boys and Girls Club Friendship Breakfast. This young man that's on the right spoke, did a fantastic job, and the two young ladies there in the front also spoke, and I tell you, they really did a great job, and we really had a good time. The Boys and Girls Club, if you haven't been over there, take a chance to go check them out. They really do a great job. They teach the kids, help them prepare for later on, and it was just it was a blessing to be able to go there the other day. So thank you for that invitation. A couple of other things, as I've mentioned before, condolences to Jim Dixon's family. I've known Jim a long time, and as was mentioned before, Jim's just a class act that is going to be missed. He just always had something nice to say when you were around him. So my condolences to that family. Dennis, welcome back. If you guys caught it, Dennis said he was a 1973 graduate of Smyrna High School, which is, we were classmates and known each other for a long time. We're celebrating our 50th class reunion here pretty soon. And so that was going to be my next thing on my list. But I just wanted to remind those that we will be having our 50th reunion on September the 16th. It's going to be held at the Smyrna Assembly Hall. We just thought it'd be a great idea to have it downtown Smyrna, and so we're looking forward to that. Also, congratulations to Assistant Chief Dyer and Lear. Thank you for all you do. We appreciate it, and it's obviously something that's well-deserved and well-earned, and we appreciate that. Mike, I called him or sent him a note here this couple of weeks ago, or last week. We were out walking. I had a tree that was over the greenway, and I don't know how quick they got it picked up, but they got it very quickly. So Mike, thank you to you and your team, and also all the people that at our town. So Mayor, that's all I got.
Congratulations also to John Lear and Jeff Dwyer, Assistant Chief Lear and Dwyer. It's kind of fun to say. First, have we ever had assistant chiefs before?
I think we did at one time, just
Okay.
for a brief.
It's been a while.
period. Yes, it's been a while.
Congratulations to them. I very much deserved. Those are two great guys, class act. So congratulations, Dennis. I also got to have you come out and inspect the detached garage that I built. Did a great job. You pointed out a couple of things that my contractor left out, which I'm glad you did because I think they were important. I didn't even know we needed them. So I appreciate the work that you do, and I'm glad that you're in this role. I heard Mayor Esther say that it wasn't a role you wanted to keep. Maybe we can change your mind, but glad to have you there. Also, Mike and the Parks Department, this past weekend, we had Smyrna Adult Softball had a very large state tournament. 38 teams ran Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, pretty much all day long. Volunteer Park was perfect. Fields were great. Everything went off without a hitch. And Mike, just thank your guys on our behalf. They did a great job. They make us look good. We've gotten a lot of comments on our local Facebook page and on our website about the facilities and how much people like to play at Volunteer Park. So thank you so much for the work you do. And I know that there was other events going on in town, but we can't tell it because we get the service we get from them. We don't know that they're busy because they're just there when we need them, and they're always on top of everything. So very good job. I think that's all I got.
Dennis and I, a long time ago.
Did y'all go to high school together?
Well,
too?
we stocked the grocery store at Fuller Foods off and on at the same time back when we were young men, and so I've known Dennis that long. Dennis, welcome back. And as I mentioned a while ago, I have mad respect for you, and I appreciate you filling in. Raquel touched on this, and I was thinking about this today on the way over here. All these directors in the room with us, Brian, your staff, everybody, and specifically our employees, have done an amazing job helping this council look good in certain categories that we've received these awards of lately. A top 50 city, number 46 in Fortune, and the only one in Tennessee. That says something about Smyrna, and that's credit to everybody that's sitting in this room and the people that work with you each day. Also, I think Mayor's probably got something to talk to about the TML meeting that we went to, so I'm going to let her have that, but that's another award she'll speak to. Rex and all the finance team recently got us into another category of AAA, and that's hard work. That's behind the scenes hard work. This entire team at the town of Smyrna has helped create. So I just want to say kudos to all of you and thank you to all of you that do this daily. Like I said, sometimes we get more credit than we deserve because you're the people behind the scenes. I do want to say thanks and to this team of council members too, because I know they work hard to meet the needs of our citizens each and every day. That's our goal when we come to work. Even though we all have other jobs outside of here, we spend a lot of our time trying to help this city be a better place to live, and we're starting to see some results from that. So I just wanted to mention all that and give credit where credit's due to all of our employees and leadership. My condolences to the Taylor family and to the Dixon family. Those were two good, wonderful men in our community, and they will be missed. I know we've got some retirements coming up before too long. Am I okay to mention those, sure. Brian? Brenda Waldron and Gary Barnes. Now, Dennis, I'm going to go back a little ways again because we all remember Gary. Gary and I grew up together, actually shared an apartment together in our younger days, and there's stories there that will not come out of that. So
we're making up a few right now.
You go ahead. But I just want to say congratulations to both of them. I've known Gary a long time. He's been a friend of mine. I wish him well in his retirement. Captain Dwyer, Captain Lear, once again, congratulations to your new positions as assistants. And the last thing I have that I'll mention real quick, school is starting back soon enough. Soon enough. So you're going to start seeing crossing guards and school buses and all the things that come along with school. So thoughts and prayers to all the teachers that give their dedicated time to educating our students and all the people that are affiliated with that as well. Back to the traffic guards, the DARE people, everything involved in school. Thank you for what you do. That is a thankless job in many occasions. And lastly, happy birthday to Mr. Peach. Happy 80th to Dick. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Great. Couple of housekeeping items. Come out and enjoy a day with the family at the Family Float on July 29th from 10 to 12 at Sharp Springs Park. The cost is $2 per person for ages 5 and up. Anyone under the age of 16 must be accompanied by an adult. Smyrna Primary School is celebrating its 60th anniversary on August the 3rd from 5 to 7:30. If you plan on attending, they're asking us to RSVP to the principal there, but a lot of memories there at Smyrna Primary. So the Smyrna Event Center was happy to host the Blue Raider Blitz recently. The Event Center hosts various events throughout the year and still has availability for 2023. So if you would like to set up a meeting or an event, don't forget to call us at the Smyrna Event Center. The Top Gun Night Run is Friday, September 15th. Sign up and join us for a family-friendly event benefiting the Coos Memorial. I will tell you, saw rendering today of the medal. It is really super cool. And so a good time that night. And we're going to have some new things this year. We'll wait to talk about them. Okay. Mark mentioned this. We were delighted to attend the Tennessee Municipal League's Awards Breakfast and formally receive the Tennessee Municipal League's Excellence in Governance Award. And the award recognizes Smyrna's commitment to efficient and effective government practices that enhance the quality of life, improve municipal service delivery, and leverage economic assets. And we just want to say thank you to the employees for all you do to help us receive these awards. It's your work day in and day out. Council, is there anything else? Anyone? If there's nothing else, we are adjourned.
Yes, I didn't.